Hello you awesome people and welcome back to another riding tip video. First of all, I want to thank you all for watching the second part about the dressage and for the response. It's clear that you do appreciate these videos and I think it's fun to make them, and I think it's the most fun to see that you do appreciate it and see it as help to make your own riding lessons in the game. So I feel like if more people are doing writing lessons in the game, then maybe we can finally get those letters in the paddocks. Maybe. And just more writing lesson available areas in the game. But so far we have to be just creative with our writing lessons. And today we're going to talk about probably the most favorable lessons someone can hold in the game, and that is terrain. It is when you are basically out and jumping fences out in nature, and you have to think about the ground. What is the is it grass? Is it sand? Or is it hard? Or is it soft? And all those kinds of stuff. And then they think about the tempo. Do I need to do extended canter, or should I hold back and do just canter? And it's so on and so on. So we're going to talk about that. What to think about when you're planning a riding lesson with terrain. First of all, you have to think about where you're going to warm up your students, because your horses need to be really warmed up before you can start the lesson. You should think about sort of a flat area, as flat as it can be, or if you are available close to a paddock, like here, I'm sort of close to Marley's, you could basically do a bit of warm up there and then take your students to the area where you want to do the terrain lessons. But here is also fine. It is basically pretty flat here, and it all depends on how many students you have here, of course. So it is the usual warming up procedure, and also that you do have to get them to jump at least 2 fences to get a bit of a warm up, and you could use that wall over there, or probably not that fence, since we have this monstrosity of a vehicle going back and forth. So probably not there, but you could totally use this wall over here that they can jump, or even if you see here a little wall here that they can jump on a flow. Just jump that, go around, keep holding the pace, and just jump that wall about 2 times, and then you're probably ready for the lesson. So, a few more tips before we start. My first tip is try to find a place that is not too hilly. Like the place behind me would probably be tiny bit too hilly for it, since it is hard for a horse to gallop up a hill. Like it is hard for us to run up a hill. Of course, it takes a lot of energy for the horse. Of course, you can also use that as a training session as well. So the course or the place behind me is actually perfect for a training lesson in many ways that I will tell you later. Another thing to focus on is to vary between a lot of fences to more distances. Like choose a place where you feel like, okay, here is a lot of fences, that it is sort of like a show jumping area, except there is no paddock. It's just a lot of fences that they can try on, and also try and find fences that are different, from logs to walls to thin fences and so on. Or choose a place that where they are going to have to run a lot more and think about the pace and so on. Also, safety first. It is very important for the students to have leg wraps to protect the horse's legs. That if you are very more safety first, try and get them to have a vest on. We can't have security vests on in the game, but just a vest like this is a good way to sort of pretend that you have a safety vest on. Helmet, of course, is very important, and just clothes that can handle being out in all kinds of weather. And also, the second tip is to talk about gates on a course. When it comes to terrain, and you watch terrain, you see them go in a sort of probably more than an extended canter, or extended canter. They keep trying to keep the same pace for the entire course, but of course some fences requires requires the rider to slow down, and so the horse can really focus on jumping the fence safely. It is very important when it comes to terrain, safety first. It is a very dangerous sport. So it is very important to think about the safety and look at the fences, see how can this actually be a risk. Should I maybe slow down, or can I go a tiny bit faster? I tend to keep to the fastest gate to be just extended canter. I don't let them go all crazy and full gallop um, anywhere or in on any of my lessons actually. Like the most fastest they are going to go is extended canter. But yes, those were my tips. Now I think we're going to go to actually showing you some areas where you can totally do a terrain lessons without problems. As I said before, this terrain is uneven and will be a challenge for the horse, but it's soft grass all the way, so it is a nice ground to canter on. Most of the course is done in extended canter, but when the distance between fences are short or you are cantering down a slope, you should slow down. It is a lot of fences and somewhat tricky since you are jumping them diagonally and in combination. If you want a course that is longer, you should go for a long distance one. These can be a bit more accurate to a real terrain competition. Here you also have some parts with heavy hills to climb, but see it as an extra training for the horse. This course is basically done only in extended canter, except for the combination that should be done in canter. I am not gonna show you a terrain course here in Furgrow, since I've already shown you one in my first riding tip video, so if you missed that, go back and see that one. But this is also a very, very good place to do some terrain courses that you can have a lots of fun with, and you have the cheap pasture to have your warm-up in as well. Now, I want to tell you about how to sort of have some order in your lesson. So basically, as when you're showing the terrain, you should show it together with everyone else. So you should have your own horse with you. Show it slowly. Say that this is one fence, this is another fence, and then go through what you expect of them to do. Is it, since it is short, maybe they should do a canter. This is a long distance. Well, here you can go up to extend a canter and so on. After you've done it once, you can then go on to actually do the course in canter only, so that you show the course only in canter, so everyone gets a feel of it and in a more flowy motion. And then when you've done that and you get a feeling that everyone seems to be remembering the course, at least some people, then you can let them go more of a flow. Let one go, wait a minute or So, and then let another one go, and so it's going the flow, and they can go around and experiment on their own when it comes to gates. But have that rule to only have extended canter. If someone goes full gallop through the whole course, well, then your flow is gonna be a bit messed up. So, a flow, but keep to the rule, only extended canter. And yes, that was the tips on how to make it less chaotic on a terrain terrain lesson. To mix it up, I would advise you to do a derby. A derby is a very special kind of thing that some competitions have, just to mix it up a little. It is basically a mix between terrain and show jumping. So they start within a paddock, jumping normal show jumping fences, and then they leave the paddock, go outside for a bit and jump occasionally some fences that are sort of more terrain-like, and then go back inside the paddock. The horses mostly used in derbies are normal show jumping horses that are very brave. These kinds of derbies, I think, has been made in Higstead, and I do know it's made in Falsterbo Horse Show here in Sweden. Very fun. Go to YouTube and watch it, and as I said, you can have a lot of fun with derby even here in Star Stable Online. And here are 2 courses that you can use. So, you start with a paddock. You jump a few fences and then jump out of the paddock. Since you're using a normal show jumping horse, they can be a bit confused to why you suddenly allow them to leave the paddock like this. So have a horse that is brave and wants to follow you. Once outside, it is pretty much like normal terrain. There tends to be a very steep slope in some courses where you really need to slow down. After that, you jump into the paddock again, jump a few more fences, and then you're done. Here is another one that is basically the same, but a little shorter and more tricky since it has bigger fences or longer ones like the tables to jump, and there is also a checkpoint, which is the barrel that you have to go around before continuing. So this was my terrain tips for you, and I hope you can now have some real fun with terrain lessons in the game. And if you have any more questions, just leave a comment down below, and I think in the next video we're going to talk about show jumping. And really looking forward to that. So, but thank you for watching, stay awesome as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!